You know, I mean, it never ends, eh? To think that there was a time when women weren't allowed to practice, so, because women weren't actually even seen as a person. So here we are. You know how many times I've actually come by this space, this building, which I always think is, in my head, is Osgood Law School or something, or Osgood Law something something. So what I've always understood it to be. So it's right here at the intersection. Over there is Queen and University. And then that's the Opera House, right? And then over there is York Street and Queen Street West, right, west, by the way. And over there is Nathan Phillips Square, you can see, right? It's the top of it there. And that's the old City Hall. Sorry, that's City Hall for Toronto, even though it's all confusing because Metro Hall at King and John is where now all the municipality, because it's now just one joint Toronto. But that was the old City of Toronto, and it still operates with all the city offices related to Toronto, I think, or just shared with offices in Metro Hall. And then the old City Hall, you can't see, it's the older building from 18, as my granddad said, from the year or not, or from Jesus was a boy. And the other sayings that you all have. And yeah, so, you know, I'll show you walking out. But so you walk in, so I'm walking, I said, I see a guy walking, I said, let me just go in and see what all. And, you know, there's all kinds of detail. I'm not go up this today on the building. But yeah, so here is the building. And then I go up to this thing, and I never see Women's Law Association of Ontario. For those of you probably just listening to this, found, like Jacqueline, my sister who can't really see very well. So founded in 1919, the Women's Law Association of Ontario, WLAO, was the first organizer to work actively to create a place for women at Osgood Hall. So this is Osgood Hall. With membership open to law students, lawyers, and judges, the nonprofit organization advances issues relevant to women in law through networking, educational, and social events. Strengthened by the women's rights movement, the WLAO's first 100 years marked Canada's first female lawyer being called to the bar, the first female leader of the later of the provincial bar, and the appointment of Canada's first female Supreme Court of Canada judge. The WLAO's campaigns influenced legislators, policymakers, lawyers, and judges to dismantle discrimination and enhance equality through law. Through advocacy, it sought employment and pay equity, criminal justice reform, and an end to gendered violence, racism, disability discrimination, homophobia, and transphobia. The WLAO continues to empower women in the legal profession by providing a collective voice and advocating for equality, diversity, and change. Ontario Heritage Trust, an agency of the government of Ontario that put this together. So, okay. So working at a different time, but you know, back in those days, I don't know that there were any racialized women. You know, initially all these things were all the things, racist, homophobic, you know, at the intersections of all the other things, right? So often when things fight for one thing, the other things get like, you know, just pushed aside, or at least just discrimination. Like, you know, me love you, Traore, and dear God, I hope the evolution is eventually the work happens like with everything else to shift things around. But Lord Massey, you just gone to the other extreme. Even though, in fairness to him, I don't know, I think I did see somewhere he partly said, but I understand it's his legislator. But anyway, I'm a kerfuffle with the idea of all of that, because I was cheering for the brother, thinking like they did in South Africa, there'd be some progressive things, and then, because a lot of it's progressive, and then this, you know, and I guess decolonization, when we think of it, it's massive, right? So even the decolonizing of the mindset that there was no space for homosexuality and homosexuals is just a whole other work to be done, because in the history of the place, there was always a place, right? Anyway, that's my little sermon on this little thing, because it's connected to a lot of what I'm thinking about in terms of equity. So yeah, so I was here waiting on the streetcar, because and Traore is, where's Traore? Burkina Faso. I think you might have heard, right, that the legislator passed this thing about, you know, very extreme draconian law against any exhibition, promotion of, or any work that looks like it is, you know, making it okay to be queer, and promoting the idea that it's okay to be queer, because according to the folks behind this legislation, it isn't. And you know, I just love how people keep doing these things like they can't ever stop it. It's like, you can't tappy. All right, now look at this difficult thing to get out of this place. See how they do it. So you have to go like this, and you have to then squeeze up like this. Lord God. And then I'm gonna jump in that streetcar. And then they've got all this stuff about trespassing. All right, here we go. All right, we out.